Okay, everyone. So here is my mono line. It's 15-pound test. It's what I typically use on my leaders. And then here we have what is simulating my main line braid here. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to take that leader line and you want to fold over itself, give it about a couple, maybe 5-6 inches, double back, and you're going to make a small loop with your hand, as you can see right here. Now you're going to take that main line or your braid and you're going to feed it through into that loop. So you feed it down 6 to 8 inches of length. It's good to have more than not enough. Okay, now you're going to pinch where you fed through the main line to the loop and the braid. Now you're going to bring that braid over the mono or your leader, and now you're going to wrap it around that way anywhere between 8 to 10 times. Now you want to try to have somewhat consistent spacing between them, but you know, sometimes it's hard moving on the line like that. So once you get that, you want to pinch it off at the end. Now you're going to have your main line tag hanging off. You're now going to feed that back basically the opposite way that you came. So we were starting over under, going to the left. Now we're going to start over, going to the right, and now you're going to crisscross all those loops that you just made on that line. Of course, the more symmetrical the crosses, the better, but you want to try to just get it as close as you can. So now we're coming back and we're now back to that loop. As you can see that we came back and kind of crisscrossed over those lines. Now you want to make sure that you are going to, we're going to feed that through that loop again, but we want to make sure that we're going the same way that that main line came through at the beginning. You can't go the opposite way. So if we're going down, you want to make sure that that tag is going through the loop in the same exact way that your main line started at the beginning. So we're going to do this a total of 3 times. Now this is, a lot of people have, when they have complaints about the Alberto knot, it's that it slips. If you do this at least 3 times, you won't have any problem slipping. You'll be able to cinch down and you'll be able to cut your tags off right basically flush with your knot if you do it at least 3 times. So this is kind of what takes it from the Alberto to the improved Alberto. So as you can see now, we have everything crossed over. We fed it through 3 times through that loop. Okay, the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to take the main leader line and you're going to start to give a little bit of pressure to that, pulling it. You want to close the loop that you had created originally. And the reason I do this is because I find that if you don't close the loop and make it as essentially as small as possible before you really tighten up, you run the risk of kind of eventually having that loop protrude out at the end of your knot. Next thing I do is I'm going to grab gloves, because using braid and mono, you're really going to yank on this hard. And now I'm going to wet the knot. Obviously you want to do that before you cinch any knot. I'm going to take the main 2 lines and I'm just going to slowly pull, and you're going to see those crisscrosses start to cinch on each other and come together. Now don't be afraid to really tug on this. Obviously, depending on the test that you have, you want to be careful, but right now I have 20-pound braid to 15-pound mono, and I can really yank on this and have no problems with it. But you want to get it cinched as tight as possible, and you really want to look for those knots coming back on each other, cinching down, and the braid starting to change color. If you see the braid, you'll kind of see it starting to darken, and you want to see that. That's when you know that the braid and the knot is cinched tight enough. So again, with this improved Alberto, you can trim these tags flush as much as possible with the knot. You're not going to have any problems with slippage or anything like that. Same thing when it comes to the mainline tag. You can try to cut it as flush as possible as well. This will last a long time. I've never had a problem with it. I've never had it slip out on me. I've never had it break at this knot. As long as you trim the leader tag as much as possible, then you really don't have a whole lot of play on your guides as you're reeling it out. So with that, I'm going to play it back slow motion so that way you can